you be authentic in dating or just in fucking life, right? We talk about this all the time. Authenticity is the antidote to the blurred lines in modern dating. And I am so excited. Let's get on into it. And yes, I wear a lot of tie-dye. For anyone who doesn't know, I actually made this shirt. I have a clothing line called Software, wearsoftware.com. And I hand tie-dyed this. So we're going to be grooving together. And I'm really excited. So let's talk. I know you tried to pretend like you're fine, especially if somebody says like, let's see where this goes. Meanwhile, you're secretly planning a future together. And today we're going to talk about why authenticity does cut through modern dating and confusion like a fucking knife. And we're going to go over the psychology of performance in dating and why being real is your competitive advantage and how to actually do it. So stick around to the end. And guys, as always, don't forget to rate and review this, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and listen to the podcast, The Sabrina Zohar Show, right here on YouTube. And if you guys need anything, you can work one-on-one, ask a question, download some free guides. Everything's in the link in show notes or sabrinazohar.com. So let's get on into it, my babies. All right. Let's talk about some bullshit that's happening in modern dating. First off, we have situationships where somebody gets all the relationship benefits, but they don't actually have to commit with you. And the reason we get into situationships is typically because why? We're not being authentic. That there's a difference between I'm not ready for something serious, I've just got out of something, or I'm not open to it or whatever, right? Then you're being honest about it. You're not lying about it. They know, you know. Then you're not in a situationship. You're in something casual or friends with benefits, whatever. There are clearly defined boundaries. And with a situationship, there aren't. So part of authenticity is holding space and saying, I want more than this. I deserve more than this. Then we go into breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing gives you just enough to keep you on the hook, but not enough to actually satisfy your needs. And for a lot of people, we're not being authentic about the fact that that's not enough for us, that that doesn't work for us, that we need more. And for a lot of people, they're like, no, I don't want to say anything. I'm going to push them away. I'm going to be too much. And at the end of the day, all you're doing is you're self-abandoning. You're telling your little, you're telling your inner, you're telling all those parts of you that they matter more and I'll take anything I can get because breadcrumbs are not enough to fucking satisfy you, baby, because you deserve the entire meal. Then we go into love bombing and then withdrawal. It's intense and then they get distant. And this is why I will scream on the rooftops like, it's okay to set boundaries with people and say, hey, this is moving a little fast for me. I don't feel comfortable at the pace. I'd love to slow down. And please know this is not a sign of disinterest. I just genuinely move a little bit slower. And here's what that looks like. And for a lot of people, they'll use like going with the flow, but that's really just code for like, I don't want to define this. And the problem is that nobody then knows what they're doing or what they want. And that's the confusion. And so we're getting into all this muddiness in the dating world because we're not what? Staying authentic. We're not taking up space. We're not being honest and vulnerable about what it is that we want and need. Now let's talk about why. Why do people hide that? So there's something called impression management, and that was in Goffman in 1956. So we perform or sell what we think others want to see, which is why people are on their best behavior. Typically, I'll say this, baby. If you're dating somebody and already after 3 dates or 3 days, they're already starting to act a fool and low effort and not being honest and all that. This is the time when they're on their best behavior. What are they selling? What self are they performing for and selling you on? If at the beginning, that's the time when they should be managing their impression, and already they're not. So that's what I mean, take up space. Then we have something called social desirability bias, and so your brain automatically adjusts behavior to gain approval. That's just hardwired because we want to be loved. Then there's attachment, right? The fear that your real self won't be lovable, so we create this false self. And especially when we're disconnected from ourselves, when we don't really know who am I and what am I. Like for me, that's what changed the game. I was the girl that would constantly self-abandon. I didn't know what authenticity meant. I was trying to, but I genuinely didn't love myself. And what I mean by that was there were parts of me that I was like, no, I'm way too much. I'm too needy. I'm too annoying. So it was going to be hard for me to be authentic with people when I was already trying to hide parts of myself because I didn't want people to see them. Well, then I was never going to be able to be loved for who I am because I wasn't showing up as who I am. And I get that if somewhere along the line, someone taught you that you're too much or you're too needy, but that doesn't mean it's based in fact. And we have something called scarcity mindset that then this might be my only option, which then leads us to people pleasing and leads us to not really taking up the space and showing up as we are. And the authenticity paradox. You're trying to be authentic can become another performance of like, I hear this all the time too with like therapy talk on dates or people that you're like, oh no, they're so authentic and real. And you're like, that's actually just sounds really well rehearsed. They know what to say, when to say it. They're very polished and clean, but you're like, who are they really? When have they showed a vulnerable side? Are they taking up the space? Are they being honest and sharing boundaries and needs off the bat? Well, if they're not, well, then that's something that we want to look at is, are you being authentic, but are they? So let's go into my favorite part of what authenticity actually looks like. So what it could look like is saying what you mean. I'm not looking for a relationship, not like I'm open to whatever, or I am looking for a relationship, not like I'm cool with going with the flow. Authenticity means you are taking up space to share what it is that you want. Now, here's the reality. When you're authentic, you got to be okay with knowing that not everyone's going to like you, that not everyone's going to want to be with you, that not everybody's going to be down with what it is that you're putting, not everyone's going to pick up what you're putting down. And another thing, a lot of people get triggered by other people's authenticity. I know for me, I get a lot of trolls that might fucking attack me because I'm very upfront and blunt and honest, and I don't hide who I am. And for a lot of people, that can be very triggering. When they're not comfortable showing who they are, they get threatened by other people who do project and things like that. I'm not saying that's always, but it can happen. And for a lot of people, when you're not being authentic, when you're like, I'll just go with the flow, or yeah, whatever, I'm not going to say anything. Well, but then again, you're not taking up the space. Another thing that not being authentic is like, are you expressing your feelings, right? That's being authentic and real. Like, I like you. I'd love to see more of you. Not being scared of like, I don't want to be too much. I'm going to push them away. And it's like, then good. They can find less. If me just being like, hey, I had a really great date. I'd love to see you again. If that's, I can't do that. It's too much. I feel overwhelmed. It's like, then what am I trying to get from this person? I don't understand. What do you think is going to change? It's important to set yourself up you want to be authentic and real from the beginning. That way you're not bait and switching this person. You want to set boundaries. No, casual dating doesn't work for me. I'll never forget my first date with my partner now. First thing he'd asked was, do you want to get a drink? And I was authentic. I said, I don't really drink. It's not my thing. It's not like I don't have an issue with it. It's just, I don't really enjoy it. And so I said, actually, why don't we like go on a hike or go for a walk or something? That was more authentic to who I was. That way I was clear about this works for me or not. And I wasn't scared. If he told me no, okay, cool. Thanks so much. That's all good. I don't cross my own boundaries. I'm not going to go and do something. I'm not going to go out at 10 o'clock at night if I don't feel like that's comfortable for me. Then, we hooked up on the first date. Your girl had needs. It'd been a minute. And we left and I said, hey, I think you're really great. And I had a really great time with you tonight. We had gone to dinner after. And I said, but I'm going to be very clear with you. I don't do the casual thing. Tonight, your girl had needs. It had been a minute and I just wanted to have a good time. I said, but if you call me again, that's because you genuinely want to build something here, or you have the intentions of seeing if we have something longer term. But I don't do friends with benefits and I don't do casual. So don't waste my fucking time if that's all you want. And I remember to this day, you ask Ryan, why did you connect with her? And he was like, because she wasn't afraid to lose me. He was like, it was so fucking hot that you set your boundaries, that you were very clear, like, I'm not interested in this. And he was like, and you allowed me to then make the choice. Okay, that works for me or it doesn't. I was honest. I was honest about my needs. I need this. I need more communication. I need more clarity. I need this. And it's okay if the person says, hey, that's not something I can do for you. But I was showing my parts of myself. I was the weird, quirky, I had my real opinions, I had my actual interests. I wasn't saying yes when I wanted to say no. I was being really authentic to myself. And the reason that I wanted to do that was because for so many years I haven't been. For so many years I've played the game or molded myself to be somebody, and I just was tired of that. And it's actually easier to be authentic, and I'll tell you why. You don't have any performance anxiety. You're not trying to be somebody. You get to filter out the wrong people because people who don't really like the real you will fucking leave. Good, let them go. If you don't like who I am, baby, everyone's welcome, but it is not my job to keep you here. It's the same shit I do with my own business. I got millions of followers, and if you don't like it, that's okay. You don't have to be one of them. You get to make a choice, and I get to make a choice to stay true to myself. I don't need to change who I am to be more palatable for other people. I just get to weed out the people that aren't there for me. You attract the right people because authenticity is a magnet to compatible fucking people, and you spend less mental energy. You don't need to remember what version of yourself you're trying to present, and you get clarity faster. You get to find out if you're compatible. You get to find out if this is somebody for you. You get to actually see if this is somebody that you like, that you vet, that you choose, baby, not just that chooses you. Authenticity isn't about oversharing, baby. It's about being real and taking up space. You're not going to attract the right person while pretending to be someone else. And I'd so much rather be single than in a relationship where I can't be authentic and be who I really am. If you guys need support with that, I've got courses. I've got the foundation course that will help you with all of this. You can ask a question, work one-on-one. You can listen to the podcast, The Sabrina Zohar Show, right here on YouTube or Spotify and Apple, or just keep tuning into these and subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know if you need any other help. But baby, we need more authentic voices. We don't need any more fucking sheep, and we don't need any more yes men. We need people that are really open and honest with who they are, so that allows the rest of us to be open and honest. So until next time, babes.